Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is another episode of the world famous, the University Love, the best podcast in 1, 2, 3 galaxies. But ladies and gentlemen, you know, we just call the show Online Marketing Moves. We are coming to you live today. Ladies and gentlemen, the last 4 days, 3 or 4 days, have been a doozy, okay? First off, ladies and gentlemen, last weekend, my wife, she invited her friends over. They brought their kids over. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, I will share this information with you right now. If your spouse, your significant other, they invite their friends over and their friends have kids, and if you see their kids with snotty noses and the kids have colds, immediately, ladies and gentlemen, throw them right out your house, okay? I'm only kidding, of course, but ladies and gentlemen, my wife, she brought her friends over. They brought their kids over. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife caught a cold. She passed the cold down to me. She passed the cold down to the baby. Ay. It's been a long 3 to 4 days. I have not had the energy to record anything. I have not had the energy to upload an old show. Ladies and gentlemen, I could tackle a cold, but I can't tackle baby colds, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, nobody told me babies had strong germs, okay? Woo! It's been rough. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday morning. We are here to record. Ladies and gents, the last few days, I've watched quite a bit TV laying around. And one thing I noticed about a lot of shows, a lot of people have characters. A lot of people have storylines they like to use. It's a lot of media. It's a lot of creation going on, you know. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I'm on the fence about all that kind of stuff. I know it's part of the whole gig, you know, because everybody wants to market themselves. Everybody wants to put themselves in a position where they can succeed, you know. Then I'll call my friend who's a chef. My wife is a chef too, but she's not as my wife, which is great. She's not as cynical as I am. I'm very cynical and very skeptical about a lot of things. Not so much anymore, but whenever I hear somebody's story, I'm like, you know, because I'll give you an example. Like, I used to watch this show Swamp People, and Swamp People, they had a guy on here, and it's like, oh, my son, he played Major League Baseball, blah 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 blah, you know. And I watched a lot of baseball back in the day, and I thought to myself, I ain't never heard of this guy. And then when they said I played professional baseball, and it's like for the Yankees. He said, I played professional baseball for the Yankees organization. A light bulb went off. I said, ding, 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 ding. He played minor league baseball. Man, get out of here with that, you know. And then I looked his stats up. He played like one season of single A ball, which, hey, man, I ain't knocking it. I never made it past junior high, so, you know, I ain't going to bash him. But it's part of his character. It's part of the storyline, you know. So I was watching another show this week. Chef show on Food Network, and the guy was like, oh man, I played professional football, yada 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 yada. And I said, you know, I've heard this story like a few times recently. Like a guy was like, oh yeah, I play football, but now I'm a chef, you know, I want to be a chef, you know. Yeah, I went for the pro field too. And I'm thinking, because listen, ladies and gentlemen. One thing that annoys me about people is, and we'll probably get more into this later on, but one thing that I've been getting annoyed with lately is when people act like you got to have like 100,000 different jobs to do. You know, when all you need to do is be great at. If you're great at one thing, then you can make money from that. You don't need 9 to 20 jobs. You don't need 30 jobs. You don't need 40 jobs. You know, you don't need to sell liquor. You don't need to sell real estate. You don't need 20. Nobody's doing 20 hustles. You know what I mean? Nobody's doing that. And so, you know, I got to thinking, I'm like, if I played professional football for a long time and I was able to generate enough, let's say I made over 10 million, anywhere between 10 million and 20 million. This is just me now. 10 million, 20 million, 30 million, 40 million dollars, you know. The one thing that I would not do is I would not try to hawk myself on TV trying to be a chef, you know. Cause I'm like, why? So, you know, I started looking these guys up and I'm like, oh, practice squad, you know, was on the team. Because you and I could be, if they can invite anybody to training camp, so you technically say, hey man, I was in the NFL, they invited me to training camp, you know? And so we see a lot of this, and it's a lot of storylines, you know, and it's a lot of character driven. But these people, they're good because they stick to this character, they stick to this storyline, you know, and it goes for you. And I say this because if there's a narrative that you want to create, if there's a character that you want to develop, a storyline that you want to develop, work on that, hone that, figure that out, and use that over and over and over again. Because ladies and gentlemen, that is how TV works. That is how media works. It's not that you're lying. It's not that you're telling fibs. It's everybody's a character. Everybody has a storyline. Everybody's not who they are on TV. You know what I mean? It's part of the gig, part of the hustle. You know what I mean? And I mean, I always find it, you know, fascinating because people use everything. You know, it's like I was watching more Food Network. I don't know why, but I watched a lot of Food Network the last 4 days, and all these people, they're like, I opened up 13 restaurants. I worked at the Michelin stars, you know, and it's like you might have helped 13 restaurants, or you might have been at 13 different restaurants or whatever, you know. But restaurants, they come and go so fast, you know. You never know, you know. And it's like, this is just part of the story. And what I'm saying to you is use every single thing that you can think about, write it down, craft it, work that into your character, work that into your storyline for your podcast, for your YouTube channel, you know. Let's say it's you and you want to talk about scam artists, you know. You can say, hey man, I got scammed once back in 1985 and I never want nobody to get scammed again. I felt that pain, you know. It's part of your storyline, it's part of your character, it's part of your arc, you know. Developing the character, developing the storyline is very important because people relate to that. People are not, the average person does not think a whole lot, you know. The average person is not a skeptical character such as myself, you know what I mean? I'm just naturally I got that from my parents, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Like, I was talking to one of my best friends, and I said, well, my mama, she ain't give me nothing else. She gave me the ability not to trust anybody. I said, so thanks a lot, Ma. And he said, yeah, my mom gave me the same thing. I said, you know how that goes. But for the most part, people relate to stories. And if you have a story and it's developed and you can relate to people, then that's how you build an audience. That's how you grow an audience, you know. And you want to grow an audience as quick as much as possible, you know what I mean? You want to move the needle. You don't want to be one of these people who, because eventually you'll get found out. You don't want to be one of these people who are, you want to be one of these. You want to drive the bus. You don't want the bus to drive you. You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. There's a guy on ESPN. They gave him a show on HBO. Bomani Jones. You know, Bomani Jones. He has a show on HBO. He had a show on ESPN. It didn't work out. He had a radio show. It didn't work out. He's more of a media creation. You know, like he's gonna make some money, but he's never gonna move the needle. He doesn't move the needle. You know. He can't go to different places and say, hey man, open up your checkbook, you know. Whereas a guy like excuse my voice, but like a guy like Bill Simmons. Bill Simmons he's kind of annoying, you know. But he moves the needle. He drives people to different platforms. And so he can go to HBO and say, hey man, write me a check. Or he can go to this place, that place, you know. There's a big difference when you driving the bus and the bus driving you. You know what I mean? And so, ladies and gents, learn how to develop a character, learn how to build up your storyline, and you will be able to drive the bus as well. You know, build an audience. You know, of course, we talk about all that. We'll talk about all that in the future. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We'll be back Monday with the all-new episode of Online Marketing Moves. But until then, my name is Tony Zano. Watch out for those babies. Take care of yourselves. And as always, everybody, peace.